Hello, everybody. I'm Victoria Reynoldson, communication and culture coach. And today's topic I want to talk about was all about cultural factors and how they're influencing online meetings. So wherever you are in the world, I'm sure it's very different wherever you are. It could be that you're in full lockdown. Perhaps you are working remotely, working from home, or perhaps you're even back in the office. But the point is, we're all very used to remote working by now. We're very used to the idea of online meetings. And perhaps we're not very consciously aware about how we're interacting with others during those meetings, particularly in international teams, so multilingual, multicultural teams. But the reality is that actually we need to be more aware of it, because it's easy for us to forget that actually it can be challenging for lots of different people to join the call and to be contributing in the way we're expecting. Why is this? Well, we all assume we live in this very globalized world where we all kind of know how to work and connect virtually in this very easy way, and that we're doing that all in the same way. But reality is that there are many different cultural factors which are impacting us and influencing how we are communicating and interacting in those meetings. And that's quite important to understand, because it has an impact on how we are developing those connections, how we're building up the conversation, and ultimately how deep those relationships go, which are incredibly important when we're working with people that we probably have never met and are working in different countries from us. So what I wanted to do today in today's topic was share with you the key cultural factors, so you have a bit of an insight into what they are and some examples of how they're influencing in online meetings. So you can raise your awareness. And for me, the key objective is that I really want to get to a place where we're having much more of an inclusive environment. So in multilingual, multicultural teams, everybody has a share of voice, that they feel able to contribute in the way that feels comfortable to them, and they feel like they can have a way to kind of contribute that works with their cultural style. So let's get into those cultural factors. So the first one I want to talk about was actually about small talk. Now, this may seem like, well, is this a big topic in itself? Well, small talk is an interesting topic, because culturally, people have different attitudes to the role of small talk. It comes back down to whether people value it. So in some cultures, it's considered as a little bit of a waste of time, just empty talk, nothing really is said. And therefore, it's just kind of better to get on with the meeting. And that's particularly true, I think, within the online environment. But for some cultures, it's incredibly important. You need to allow enough time for that small talk to develop the conversation, to get to know people a bit more personally, and see it as an important ritual part of the meeting. So, be aware of that. I think in online meetings, we're very tempted to just get to the point quickly, to get on, to be very fast. But actually, sometimes we're not allowing enough time for the small talk, either at the beginning of the meeting, and I would argue sometimes we need a very brief amount of small talk also at the end of the meeting as well. So that's about small talk. Let's now talk about listening style now. So listening, culturally, people listen in different ways. So what you may find is, for some cultures, that listening is not actually listening. It's actually people are often talking on top of each other and contributing at the same time. There's very little space between one person finishing their sentence and the next person expressing their opinion. For other cultures, it's actually incredibly important to listen incredibly intensively to what the other person is or people are saying. And that person will wait and really wait until the end of everything's been said, and then pause. And then they will wait a little longer before they start expressing their opinion. And that demonstrates respect and active listening style for them. And for other cultures, what might be confusing is that you see somebody, you see body language signals that somebody is appearing to be listening. Perhaps they're nodding their head and smiling, but actually this is more of a body language signal, but actually in reality, that person isn't really listening deeply inside. So we need to understand that. The next factor I want to talk about is hierarchy and how that influences and comes into the online meeting space. So there are different views on hierarchy, and that is influenced by national culture. Clearly, there are some cultures which are very egalitarian at work, very flat structures, and the boss is part of the team. But there are some cultures where it's incredibly important that there is one key person in charge, and that person has a very important role within the online meeting space. So as an example, in India, in some Asian cultures, the people would be respecting the order in which to speak and contribute their opinion, starting with the senior leader in the room, then following by the middle management, and then by the junior people in the room. So, we need to be aware of this when planning for meetings, and thinking about, how do we want people to contribute in the right way? It also comes in a way that, for example, in some cultures, that actually some people would feel very uncomfortable expressing a view in front of their senior managers or leaders verbally, just to the large group. So there may be other ways and tools within online meetings that we can allow to include people. For example, getting them to contribute through the chat function, through whiteboarding, and other ways where they can write their opinions, or even something like Mentimeter, where you can get people to vote anonymously or express their opinion anonymously, so they feel safer to contribute in that environment. Now let's talk about feedback style. I think feedback style is so fascinating. It's a huge topic in itself. But feedback style, about how do we kind of tell people we like their idea, or even we don't like it and we disagree with them. This is a huge factor, because it really does vary from culture to culture. Clearly, you have some cultures where, being direct, honest, to the point, say exactly what you want to say in front of everybody else is not a problem at all. And there are many examples of those types of cultures. If I give a few examples, Dutch culture generally tends to be more direct, Israeli culture, Russian culture. But actually, there are lots of cultures where actually being more indirect is important if you want to keep the team harmony, keep the sense of team working well together. So if you're expressing any kind of disagreement or negative, any sort of negative feedback, then we have to be very, very careful, and we have to think about the best way to do that, and whether the online meeting space with a big group is the right place for that. So there we go. I mean, I have had a whole load of other factors I just realized I was going to talk about, but I appreciate we probably don't want to go too long today. But I just wanted to kind of share some of those kind of key factors and demonstrate to you how important cultural factors are when it comes to thinking about you planning your online meetings, and particularly when you're working in international teams, in multilingual, multicultural teams, how important it is to plan those interactions. So culturally, everybody has the opportunity to get involved, and you don't end up in a situation where some people are dominating the conversation, and some people are feeling kind of left out or not actively participating. So I hope that's really, really helpful. If that's kind of an interesting topic for you, and you've got questions on or comments even about this particular topic, then I would love to hear from you. So please feel free to contact me, drop me a note or a message. I would love to hear from you. And certainly, if this is a particular area that you think for you or your team, so cultural awareness, cultural training is something that would help you be more effective in building your connections and conversations, helping you to be more effective as a team, and to help you deliver your projects and your results, then I really encourage you to get in touch with me, and let's have a chat about what your specific needs are and how I can plan some cultural training for you. The other thing to let you know is I am regularly on LinkedIn. So I'm in LinkedIn Monday to Friday, sharing my ideas, my insights, also more about sort of free resources and strategies that you can use individually and also as a team. So please feel free to connect with me. Always love to connect with new people. And thank you so much for listening or watching or reading this topic today. Follow me today. And it's just been great to kind of connect with you and look forward to seeing you next time. I'm Victoria Reynoldson, communication and culture coach.